All right. I want to talk masculine and feminine today. And I want to kick off the conversation with a bold statement saying that we're doing it wrong. That we're doing it wrong. We're doing men's groups wrong. We're doing women's groups wrong. We're doing mixed groups wrong. We're doing the exploration of the polarities between masculine and feminine wrong. We're doing sacred sexuality wrong. We're doing it wrong. What if, just hear me out. Hear me out. What if there's a faster, quicker, more powerful, more profound, more awakening, more evolutionary way of doing it all? What if? What if there is? Would you be okay to shake the, what do you call it, rock the boat? Would you be okay to expand out beyond how it's always been done? How it's always been done, or how it's currently done? Would you be up for it? If it's faster, it's truer, it's more holistic, it takes you to stronger sovereignty, stronger wholeness within self. It takes you to what the mystics call the final level of spiritual awakening, which is the embodiment of both the descension and the ascension, the sacred union of both Shiva Shakti. So if that's the supreme, like the ultimate evolutionary, and let's not even talk spiritual, if that's the ultimate power, we can even talk right straight to the ego. Let's talk right straight to the ego and not make it all spiritual and all that. If that's the ultimate freedom, ultimate liberation, ultimate power, ultimate fulfillment, it's the ultimate. Why the fuck are we so focused on only embodying either the masculine or the feminine? I don't know. It's just a question. This conversation is just a question. It's not to convince you of my beliefs or anything like that. It's a space. And it's a doorway into you feeling into, how does this feel for you? Right? Like, oh, there's this conversation that's happening in a lot of the groups that I'm facilitating. A lot of the circles, the journeys, the long 3-month journeys, the short 7-day journeys, the 12-month immersion journeys. And it's the same conversation. It's not elicited by me. It's not. It's a reflection from others in circle, from participants moving through the program. Here's what they say. Sabrina, I feel like the way that I used to heal, process, awaken, open, evolve into the new doesn't take as long. It's not as grungy. It's not as hard. It's just not the same. Just feel into that truth for a moment. So that's like a truth bomb within the overall conversation. So that's something to feel into, just something to feel into for yourself. Here's a question on that. Here's a reflective question. Is my ego, my mind, because we like mind food, especially when we're working through evolutionary things and we're evolving and we're growing and we're on a spiritual path and there's all sorts of things happening that make no sense. The mind likes to know that it's doing something. It likes to know. It likes markers. It likes little checkpoints of, I'm moving from stage 1 to stage 2 to 3 to 4. It likes it, right? It likes it. So what if our desire for mind food, our desire to know that we're doing something in the retreats we go on, the practices that we do, the meditations we go into, the personal development things, many, many different things obviously fit into this category, that it's working. And so I need it, this is interesting, I need it to be hard so that I know I'm doing something. Just hear me out. Because if it was easy like that, I wouldn't feel like I'm getting anywhere. And I need to feel like I'm getting somewhere. I see this in circles all the time. I like the gross more than the subtle. like the gross, the overt, the loud, the obvious, much more than the subtle, the almost unnoticeable. I'm attached to the belief that if it's more intense, it's better. It's bigger, it's better. It's so not true. It is so not true. If you've walked this path for any length of time and witnessed others' journeys besides just your own, you will know that that is complete and utter bullshit. It is a story that we've made up, that our mind, and it likes it, and we love, and that's okay, right? I'm not bashing the ego or bashing the mind. I'm simply giving us something to feel into. That has come up in every single circle that I've held. Every single circle that I've held that's been live, where we can interact and ask questions and be together. Every single circle I've held for the last, I would say, 3 years. For the last 3 years, every circle, it comes up at some point. Now you can ask those who've been facilitating for a long period of time, especially our elders, right? If you talk to our elders who've been facilitating for 40, 50, 60 years, right? They will say, you will hear all of them, if they're still facilitating, you will hear all of them say, it's different. It's very, very different. How the young generation is able to shift and change and evolve and grow and release something and let go of something and open up to new insights and awaken Kundalini is so different. It's so different. I don't have to beat them over the head with a stick. I literally just have to go, here. And they're like, oh, okay. Right? All right. So if this is the case, right? If every single group that I've been in, and just feel, reflect on it for yourself on your own journey, the last few years. And it's not just the last 3 years, right? I mean, it's been amping up and amping up and amping up and amping up and changing and evolving. And it will continue to do that. It will continue for infinitum, right? We will continue to evolve. Consciousness will continue to evolve. There's studies done on this. I mean, you can scientifically research this, that we will keep evolving. And that includes our nervous systems. It includes our consciousness. It includes our capacity to be conscious to certain things, right? All right. That's a whole nother topic and a whole nother episode to dive into the science of that. If you're in the Facebook group, by the way, and you have any of these scientific studies or articles, I would love for you to share them. If you're not in the Facebook group, we always have conversations around podcast topics, and you can find lots of additional resources. Our community is fucking amazing. I love our community. Also, if you're here on YouTube, I know that you're a part of our community too. And I am so grateful for all the different places that we connect and interact. Facebook group just happens to be a place where I get to easily add additional resources. The team gets to, and you get to as well. So I'll put a link up here and a link below for that if you want to come and hang out. So, okay. Now let's go to the guts of our topic. Right? This is such a good and such an important topic. This is like a topic within a topic. And I want to park that and just invite you to reflect on that for yourself. Here's reflective questions. Am I clinging to an old way of doing things that's slowing me down? Am I needing it to be overt and gross versus subtle? I know gross is such a hard word to put into this context, but that's such a good way of saying it. And overt and obvious. Do I need that? Get real. Get honest about it. Just be real about it. And do I sometimes drag out a process, a healing process, a shadow work process, an awakening process, longer than need be? Because I like it. I like the validation. I like the drama in my system. I like to know I'm doing something. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing, we can do this any way we want. We can take a long ass time. We can make it dramatic as shit. We can wallow in it. We can extend it out. We can swim in it. Like, that's the beauty of this, like, one precious human being body that we have. Like, that's the beauty, is we get to. But if we're conscious to it, we get to make choice. We get to make choice, and we get to enlighten even that little part, which is kind of what all this growth stuff is about. It's kind of what all this spiritual stuff is about. It's enlightening all of it, right? Enlightening, bringing light and consciousness to all of it. And then we have freedom from it. So we talk about this freedom and liberation. Like, I don't understand, what is spiritual liberation, Sabrina? It's that I have the freedom to choose to do it or to not do it, versus I only have one way of doing it because I don't even know that there's another way. I don't even know that it's actually can be faster or quicker or less painful. I don't have to vomit in buckets anymore. Sometimes that might be true. Sometimes it might not be. I don't have to cry for 8 weeks anymore. Now, this is not to say, let me just do this quick side note. This is not to invite us to go quicker than we're meant to, right? It's like walking the fine line. You walk the tightrope. It's don't get stuck into the old, right? Don't get stuck into the old, but don't dive over here and go, oh, Sabrina's saying it's quick, it's subtle, it's really quick. And then we don't go deep enough. Do you see what I'm saying? We don't go to the guts of it. We don't get to the root of it because we're now surface leveling it. So it's not about surface leveling it. It's you go just as deep, just as much alchemical transformation, just as much healing, just as much awakening, just as much shifting, just as much. But the process might look a little bit different. It might look a little bit different. It might be a little bit quicker. It might even be a little bit more powerful. It might even go a little bit deeper. All right, so let me finally get into this topic now that we've like created the synapses. I almost feel like there's like certain wiring that we have to get to before we can even go where we're kind of being asked to go in this video. So here's where I want to open doors and just invite us to keep staying with an open mind and see what hits, see what resonates, see what feels right. So if we're saying, I'm laughing at like the opening line of this conversation, which was, we're doing it wrong. So let's just start there. We're doing masculine embodiment and feminine embodiment wrong. We're doing it wrong. Why are those of us who maybe identify with the feminine a little bit more than the masculine, why is it that we are always pushed into feminine practices? Why? I just want to know. I know that you have 1,000 reasons. I can come up with 1,000 reasons. 1, the feminine's been so suppressed in our society. 2, like we're actually finally now just uncovering the practices for the full embodiment of the feminine. Blah, 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 blah. We could go on and on and on and on. But that's not the point. So just know that I totally honor all of that. But if the whole point is to be a sovereign being, a whole being, if the whole point is to become embodiment of spirit, to be a soul, to be at that high level that I mentioned at the start, that the sages, right, and the wisdom traditions talk about, that the highest level you can reach is sacred union of masculine and feminine, not in a relationship with another human being, not in a relationship with another human being where you're codependent on their feminine or their masculine, but within yourself. Do you see where this is going? Here's where it's going. If we are in agreement that, wow, I can live, let's not even do spiritual, I can live my best life when my heart is connected to my power, when my life force has a fucking direction to it. Do you see I'm giving you 2 different examples of masculine and feminine gifts, right? When my love has a way to be expressed into the world, right? Has a possibility to be made manifest. When my creations are supported by my ability to bring it in. If that's the best human being I can become, so let's just take the spiritual shit out of it for a minute. If just my full potential, let's talk about potential. This is easy. If my full potential is to create from a place that is love-filled, soul-aligned, if my full potential, like me being so on the razor's edge of what my soul came here to experience, to express, and to do. If being a certain way, if that is what brings me the most amount of fulfillment, of joy, it makes me the most radiant, the most powerful, but from an empowered, authentic, sacred power way. If it includes a union within my being, why the fuck are we constantly pushing women into embodying just more feminine, just more feminine, just more feminine, just more feminine, just more feminine? And why are we pushing men more masculine, more masculine, more masculine, more masculine? Now, I can argue with that all day long too, just like your brain might be doing. I can argue with it all day long. Well, the masculine, right? More masculine practices purifies the masculine, purifies the masculine, purifies the masculine. Great! Yes! Feminine practices, it awakens the feminine, purifies the feminine, purifies the feminine, purifies the feminine. But what about the masculine in myself being developed, purified, opened, and awakened so that it can dance with, unify with, make creative, beautiful babies, sacred babies with my feminine? Why are we not doing this? Why are we not doing this? Why do I go to a 7-day retreat on the masculine and the feminine, and I'm in a room with women for half of the fucking day only embodying feminine, and then I'm told to walk around for the rest of the day when there's masculine around only being feminine? Only being feminine. Only your job for 7 days, Sabrina, is to be so feminine, so feminine, so feminine, so feminine, so feminine. I do not live in a world where I get to do that. I could. I could. I'd have to have armored up. I'd have to have all my defenses around, which, P.S., is a masculine capacity in myself. If I'm going to walk around that juicy and that alive, here's another question I get all of the time. Sabrina, when I embody my feminine in the way that we're doing in this workshop, I am sexy as shit. I am radiant as shit. I am so hot, everything wants to fuck me. Yeah, that's totally true. That is totally true, right? How the hell do I walk around with this out in the world that I live in? How do I go to the grocery store, right? This is dangerous. Yeah. In the world we live in, yeah. So what do we have to do? We have to develop the masculine capacity in ourselves to be the containment of it. Why? How have we missed this? Maybe I'll throw out some random thoughts. These are totally theories. Maybe it's that a lot of the tantric teachers have only made it to like stage 2. I don't know if there's 3 stages or 4 or 5 or 10 or whatever, but they've only made it to a certain level, right? I know for me, it had to be years of masculine-based practices. Rugby, right? Captaining a rugby team, for fuck's sakes. So it wasn't just spiritual practices, although there was a decade of that where it was just full-on masculine stillness, consciousness practices, right? A decade of that. Then, for me, it was, 8 years of feminine, full feminine, just all feminine, all Shakti, all life force, all working through all of the archetypes of the feminine, right? And then the union happens. The union happens and it blows all the rest of it out of the water. All the rest of it out of the water. All the rest of it. All of it's great. It's great. It's great. It's beautiful. It's stunning. It's life-changing. It changes you. But it's not the end. It's not the end. We're not done. We're not done. And I think that's what's coming up for me is One, we're not done, especially with what we're evolving into. Especially what we're evolving into. As a collective, think about it. Men do not just do men things anymore. But right? Typical old school men things. Women do not just do women things anymore. We have blown up the paradigm. We are blowing up the paradigm. Fuck, we don't even consider gender a thing anymore. That's how much we're blowing up the paradigm of, if you're in this body, you're just this energy. We're on this amazing, and again, this is a Sabrina theory. You feeling what's true for you. If it doesn't fit, throw it in the fucking bucket, as per usual. But we're evolving way beyond it. And what if our retreats, our workshops, the way that we hold circle, how we facilitate, what we facilitate, what if that needs to evolve to catch up? What if we need to really feel into what's true for us and go, cool, I've loved doing feminine practices, or I've loved doing masculine practices, and I'll continue to do that because they're powerful for me. But Sabrina, I think you're onto something. I think if I am a man, let's just say, and I opened up to my intuition, and I were able to open up to creative potency in myself, and more vitality and more life in myself, and I were able to connect to my heart, I were able to maybe feel things in a different way, feel what's true in a different way. I was able to develop the feminine oracle in myself in a way. I could hold my masculine to the fire of truth. I could align with my purpose in a better way. I would be way more powerful out in the world. And I would be able to give my gift out to the world in a completely different way. Right? Why aren't we doing this? Why aren't we doing this? I am. Oh my God. My first men and women's workshop in Australia 5 years ago, it was this. It wasn't, okay, guys, you're going to go separately with a male facilitator that I've hired. You're going to go over there and you're going to do just man stuff. Women, you're coming with me. No, it was, we all get to explore all of the energy together. We all get to awaken to all of it together. Yes, we then get to dance in the polarities because we now have choice. Right? I have the full spectrum, the full masculine and feminine spectrum open. Now I can play. Now I can play. Now I can dance in it. So just because you're exploring all of it doesn't mean that if you're a very feminine essenced being, that you're going to end up being more masculine. You will probably be more feminine, but you will be more healthy, solid, grounded, less. Do you see all that stuff out in society around codependency? Right? Like we're poking at that thing too. Codependent relationship, codependent relationship, codependent relationship. Think about that. We talk about sovereignty and agency. Okay, why the fuck are we not developing the fullness of our feminine and the fullness of our masculine within ourselves? So that I don't need my wife to run my emotions through her system, which is what happens in a lot of relationships. So that I don't need my man to tell me what to do. Again, I'm talking man-woman terms, but it's totally all human beings. It's just masculine and feminine. How are we doing that? Now, what if I have all of that capacity in myself? I am a whole human being. And I have these amazing fucking potentials that have come online. I also understand the other energetic element that is the other half of the fucking planet. Not in gender human. I understand feminine energy from a gnosis place, not reading fucking men are from Mars, women are from Venus. I understand it in my body, right? You want to talk about deepening relationships and deepening intimacy and getting beyond this like weird, I don't understand men, I don't understand women are so confusing. This is how we do it. We embody the energetics of it. Then it's not foreign to us. It's not mysterious to us. It's not outside of us. It's not other than. We also then will not manipulate others so that we get that energy to do what we want it to do. We will stop misusing it. We will stop mistreating it. We will stop denying it. We will stop chopping men's balls off and cutting off their power. We will stop degrading women and making them objects. We do that because we're afraid of the other's power. We're afraid of the power that's held in the energetics that we don't fucking have in our bodies. Feel into that for a truth. Feel into that for a truth. Fuck. Wow. Oh, I am excited. I am excited about this. There's a program that created, it's called the Reunion Experience, and it's 7-part series, and it's exploring all of it. It's exploring all of it. It's not, here's a workshop just for those who identify with the masculine. Okay, and while they're doing that, those of us who identify with the feminine, we're gonna do this one. It's all of it for all of us. All of it for all of us. And it's all supported by the divine wisdom. So it rises up to meet you where you're at and take you exactly where you're meant to go. Exactly where you're meant to go. We work with that wisdom in the body, spiritual body wisdom, Shakti, right? We work with that in the whole of the thing. We work with the dissension, calling down consciousness, calling down divine masculine. We work, sorry, that's descension. I think I said ascension. We work with that. We work with ascension, the rise, right? The rise of, you could call it the soul, Shakti, the divine feminine. And then we work with the fucking union. In our beings, I don't need someone else to embody the other opposite polarity thing, although I can. So if I want to experience tantric union, sacred sexuality in that kind of a way, in the body with another human being, it's all awake in me. It's all awake. It's all awake in me. Whew. I've loved this conversation. I love our community. Those of you who inspired this conversation, which are those of you in the community, I thank you for that. I thank you for everything that we're co-creating together. The Reunion Experience, we've just opened up the doors. It's available for a crazy price. It's half off. It's fucking half off. It's under $100. This is mental. Anyways, it's because I love you all. I love this work. I want to bring this out into the world and make it as accessible as possible. It's 7 parts. It's hours and hours and hours of working in this territory. I know it's not going to call to everyone, but if it does call to you, don't waste your time. It's not going to be 50% off for long. You'll find links below and above, and I'm so crazy grateful for you all. Thank you all so much. I love comments below. If you want, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next video, which will be talking more about this tantric union. If you feel like this video could serve someone, or blow someone up, or you just want to make someone freak the fuck out. I'm just kidding. Feel free to pass it on. That is, we're just really grateful for you all doing what you all do for the ReWilding community. All right. I love you all. I will talk to you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you. Mwah.